Welcome to this explainer. Okay, think for a second about how much of your day is spent just managing software. Clicking buttons, moving data around, telling applications exactly what to do, step by excruciating step. It's exhausting, right? Well, today, we are going to build a wholesome understanding of a massive paradigm shift happening right now in the digital economy that is about to change all of that. We're talking about Agentic AI. And listen, this isn't just about software that writes a slightly better email or generates cool images. No, this is a fundamental change in how work actually gets done and how value is created. We're moving from systems that simply give us answers to systems that take action.
So let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We've got 5 key areas to cover. From answers to actions, what makes AI agentic, removing economic friction, the digital economy reorganized, and finally, what this means for you.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, from answers to actions, and look at the core difference between the first wave of AI and this exciting new agentic wave.
Now, the contrast here is absolutely crucial. Think about normal AI as a highly capable but kind of stubborn smart calculator. You know how frustrating it can be to use sometimes, right? It just sits there waiting for your exact input, your perfectly crafted prompt, just to spit out a single answer. If your prompt is even slightly off, well, the answer is off. You have to constantly feed it. But Agentic AI, it is much closer to a junior coworker. It can take a broader goal, break that goal down into smaller parts, choose the right actions, and essentially keep plugging away until the task is completely done. It takes initiative rather than just waiting around for your next command.
The real key here is how we define agency. When people hear agentic AI, a lot of them immediately picture some perfect sci-fi autonomy where humans are completely removed from the equation. But actually, scratch that. That's not it at all. Agency simply means action under direction. It's having just enough independence to reduce the need for constant, step-by-step human micromanagement. You set the destination, and the agent handles the navigation and the driving. Just imagine how much mental bandwidth that frees up when you no longer have to steer every single micro-task.
Moving on to section 2, what makes AI agentic? Let's break down the specific traits that actually give an AI system this agency.
So instead of giving a single prompt to get a single answer, you give an agentic system a broader goal. It's literally like handing a human chef a grocery list and saying, hey, make dinner happen. To do that, the chef doesn't just blindly start chopping carrots, right? They break the work into small decisions. Agentic system works the exact same way. It uses external tools, stuff like search engines, calendars, or payment systems. It absolutely requires a feedback loop to observe mistakes and adjust. Going back to our chef, if they notice they're out of salt, they decide to use a substitute, and they'll adjust the oven temperature if something is cooking way too fast, all without having to stop and ask you first. And importantly, it operates safely within predefined boundaries, ultimately reducing all that human micromanagement.
Think about the last time you booked a business trip. Did you just make one single decision? Of course not. You had to identify dates, compare flight options, check the company budget policies, reserve the hotel, and confirm the details. Useful work is rarely just one big act. It's almost always a chain of smaller decisions. The real economic value of this new technology doesn't lie in answering one question. It lies in reliably managing this entire continuous sequence, the whole shebang, without you having to hold its hand.
Now that we know how it works mechanically, Section 3 brings us to why businesses care so deeply about this, removing economic friction. To really grasp the impact here, you have to realize that a vast amount of digital labor is really just moving intent through an expensive, incredibly time-consuming maze of steps. Searching for info, copying data from some spreadsheet into an email, waiting for approvals. These are frictions. Businesses currently spend millions upon millions of dollars paying humans just to act as the glue between different disconnected software systems. Imagine a city where you literally need a human guide for every single turn you make. That is our current digital workflow. Agentic AI is the ultimate solvent for this friction. It acts like automated traffic systems and clears signage, letting you reach the destination with far less manual dragging.
If we break the digital economy down, we see 3 distinct layers of value creation: information, coordination, and execution. Now, earlier AI only really helped with that first layer. It made finding and summarizing information a whole lot cheaper. But Agentic AI, it is forcefully moving into coordination and execution. There's a profound difference between just surfacing information and actually moving work across systems to complete a workflow. By reducing those human handoffs and literally completing the execution phase, it's fundamentally changing the structure of work itself. It is pushing software closer to just doing the work for us.
Let's explore what happens when things really start to shift in Section 4, the digital economy reorganized.
So this is the ultimate question we must ask ourselves. What happens when software pursues outcomes? Because when software pushes past simply answering a question and aggressively moves into completing the action, the entire value chain shifts. If coordination gets cheaper, markets change. Businesses can literally redesign their processes around the brand new assumption that software can now carry the load. Consider a highly relatable local example, Amina's online clothing store. In the past, AI merely helped her draft a customer service reply a bit faster, but, she still had to send the emails, update the inventory manually, and stress over all the logistics. Her entire day was spent maintaining her business rather than growing it. Now, an agentic system executes the entire operational sequence. It notices a stockout, updates the website, messages affected customers with suggested substitutes, and automatically creates a task to follow up with the supplier. Amina is no longer translating intent into repetitive action. Her role fundamentally shifts upward towards strategy and exception handling. She actually gets to focus on growing her business. It's a real game changer.
Now, people always ask, wait, is AI going to replace people? But the deeper economic logic here is about substitution and amplification. Just as the pocket calculator didn't eliminate the field of math, but rather shifted human effort away from manual arithmetic and toward complex reasoning, agentic AI will substitute routine coordination. And think about that for a second. Just as we can't imagine doing long division by hand today, future workers won't be able to imagine manually copying data between software systems. At the exact same time, it radically amplifies the human judgment, taste, and system design skills of the person running the operation.
Finally, let's tie all of these massive macroeconomic shifts directly back to you in Section 5, what this means for you.
Next time a vendor pitches you an AI agent or you read about one in the news, don't just blindly accept the marketing label. Use this simple 4-question checklist to see if it's truly agentic. Number 1, does it have an outcome-oriented goal? Number 2, can it independently choose its next steps, deciding what happens after the initial prompt? Number 3, can it use external tools to affect the world beyond just generating text? And number 4, can it actively adjust to feedback and correct its own errors? If the answer to all of those is yes, you're looking at true agency.
The absolute core takeaway from this explainer is a fundamental shift in our assumptions. We must now look at AI not as a novelty or a toy, but as a structural force. It reshapes how value and coordination happen. Execution can be delegated more often at a significantly lower cost and with far less friction than ever before. When the cost of moving work from an idea to a finished outcome plummets, entirely new business models become possible.
I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to keep in mind as you navigate your career and business in the new digital economy. Look at your own daily workflows. Where are your biggest frictions? What repetitive loops are just draining your time? And what will your job look like when the software finally takes the wheel and pursues the outcome for you? Keep asking yourself that question, and I promise you, it will keep opening doors. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.